Welcome to Cosmic Channels with your alien theorists. I'm Dan.
I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
And I'm Andrew.
Once again, this is the Alien Theorist. This is our call-in show. This is our third attempt at this. Last two have gone extraordinarily well, I think.
I was happy with him.
The number to call is 1-888-738-3236. One line, first through gets the call, but a call queue is coming soon. Tonight we're talking about shadow people and the Hat Man, and we had a breakthrough on the case of the Hat Man just prior to the show. We've talked about Hat Man before, and we've joked that he was Lou Bega.
That was the prevailing theory at the time.
Lou Bega actually released a song that we just found out last year called Scatman and Hatman, where he basically admits in the song that he is in fact said Hatman.
The goddamn
he
Hat Man.
absolutely admits it. He comes out and says, "I am the Hat Man."
I am the Hatman.
Lou Bega being the Hat Man is not a theory anymore. It is now a fact.
That
So
is
if you're
theory
calling
fact.
if you're calling in with a Hatman story, be prepared to answer the question at the end. On the scale of Mambo number 1 to Mambo number 5, how Lou Bega was your Hatman?
Listen, you know what I mean? I think this is on us because we waited for him to come out and tell us because we didn't do enough investigation. All you have to do is look through the lyrics of Mambo number 5. He says it right here. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. As I continue, you know they only get sweeter. He's eating them. These are his victims.
He's victims?
He's eating them. All these women in this song. He's talking about eating them.
All right, well, we got our first caller on the line. They've been muted for a bit, so hopefully they're still there. But let's go bring in our first caller. Hello, you're live on Cosmic Channels. Who are we speaking with?
Well, hello. This is Peter from California.
Hey, Peter, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing well, brother. You got a Hat Man or Shadow Person story for us, or what?
Yeah, funny that you mentioned that. So I'm actually pretty new to your guys' podcast, and it's fucking dope as hell. I'm about to order like 5 shirts and such.
Cheers, man.
I was actually just on the episode 23. I just finished it regarding like shadow people and all. And I do have one actual experience recently, about a week ago.
Ooh, fresh. Nice.
So a little backstory. So talking about sleep paralysis, because it is one of those scenarios. I've been experiencing sleep paralysis for a long period of time now, and it's something that happens very often. Part of I would say, cause of that is in the past I kind of jumped into and practiced. What is it called? Sorry, I had a couple things on me. Sorry. So I practice kind of working with dreams and stuff, and part of some of those practices, you would kind of make yourself fall into a sleep state that induces sleep paralysis. So it's something that I can basically do every night now. I can't say I'm the biggest fan because it's still freaky as hell, and I do get myself out of it. But about a week ago, I woke up, or not woke up, but went into sleep paralysis, and I had that whole little experience where there's something there just like off to the side, and it seemed as though there was someone literally standing in my room, just some form of a dark shadow. And with sleep paralysis, it's something that I don't really enjoy, and to kind of get out of it, one little trick I do is just start wiggling like my toes and fingers so I can slowly gain some more motor control. And as I started to do that, I got out of it and instantly, poof, kind of dragged aside that shadow person, that entity, whatever you want to call it, just kind of disappeared. So that was something pretty freaky and pretty unique, and kind of funny that I literally just listened to your guys' episode on that today.
we probably haunted you with one by accident. That's our bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times shadow peoples are
kind of crazy thing.
Yeah, a lot of times, and tons of cases, shadow people or like shadow figures are always related with a sleep paralysis of sorts. Now, did your figure did you notice anything specific about it? Because there's shadow people, and then there's the Hat Man, which a lot of people see. Was he wearing any type of hat?
Yeah. I like how you brought that up, because for a moment, I almost thought it did look like a kind of tall, like older gentleman, and almost like there was something on his head. And I didn't really have the opportunity to like look directly over and like stare at it in his face, but it was just slightly to the side. And I thought there might have been something to that extent of a hat or something on top of his head.
Cool. Lou Bega strikes again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Peter, on the scale of Mambo number 1 to Mambo number 5, how Lou Bega was this shadow person?
I'm gonna say about a 4.5.
Mambo 4.5.
Mambo 4.5. You heard it.
All right.
That's enough for me to never sleep again.
It's terrifying. Just I've had a shadow person experience. I think I told it early on in the show, where I didn't have sleep paralysis. I interacted with whatever the fuck this thing was, and it freaked the fuck out of me, and it like still creeps me out to this day.
Yeah.
So tell it after the show, but
yeah, they're freaky as hell. All right, man. Hey, thanks for calling. We're gonna move on to our next story, so appreciate it. And let us know when you catch up to our current case files.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, and two other things, real quick. Just had some thoughts for you guys about like some future podcasts. So 2 really interesting theories or ideas is remote viewing. If you guys have studied that and looked into that at all, there's a pretty interesting book I started to read called The Reality of ESP, and then also maybe jumping into the topic of the pineal gland.
Yep, both good ones for sure. Remote viewing is definitely on the list.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Okay, good.
Bye bye.
We've talked about doing a remote viewing one too, where we can where we maybe all get together and we go to somewhere, we pick somewhere we haven't been yet on a pod trip.
Yeah.
And we sit and just have a brainstorming session of what we're gonna see when we get there, and see if any of us have the powers of remote viewing.
I think one of us gets close on a guess.
I think you would have to like.
We do have a maester in the group.
Yeah, he's probably been.
He's probably read every fucking book on remote
one of
viewing.
those online remote viewing tests. There is one.
Is there?
Somebody, I think Brittany from our Discord and social media, you know who I'm talking about. She sent a link up to a remote viewing, capability test or something.
How'd you do?
It was interesting.
Anyways, we got another caller on the line. They're on
Shadow person.
Hat Man. Hello, you're on Cosmic Channels.
Hey, what's up, boys?
How's it going? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm doing good. My name's Tyler. I'm from West Virginia, but I'm in Georgia.
Yeah.
West Virginia.
I know this guy. This is Tyler
That's right.
Hall. He has a podcast, Conspiracy Hall podcast.
Oh shit! We talked to him on the phone the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is me. Hey, man, I really appreciate you guys getting back to us, and it's awesome just to be talking to you guys. So thank you again.
No worries, man. We try and get back to everyone we can. You got a Hat Man or a Shadow Person story or theory?
I do. So I have a few stories, and I've definitely got a theory for you guys, but I'm going to keep it brief and kind of short. So I've been plagued with sleep paralysis, like the last caller. I believe that sleep paralysis and shadow people are almost one and the same. You know, when you experience shadow people, or if you're experiencing sleep paralysis, you're going to get some shadow people involved, right?
Yep.
So my theory with shadow people and sleep paralysis is I take it more into like a religious or a spiritual, like a spiritual realm. You know, I don't know how religious you guys are, but for me, it always seems like it's coming from a dark or evil entity, you know? So something that works for me when I'm experiencing sleep paralysis, and this happens to me about once, maybe every 2 or 3 months, so it's pretty frequent. But every time that I have it, I think of like really good thoughts. I'm trying to like come out of it and break the curse or the spell of the sleep paralysis. And I always just try to think of like good thoughts, like my family or things that are happy in my life, like childhood memories. and usually it totally breaks the spell of the sleep paralysis. So that's kind of my theory. Maybe it's more divine and spiritual than a lot of people think. I know a lot of people think that it's kind of a scientific thing, like you're laying on your back and you're not getting a lot of air to your brain, and that causes or triggers the sleep paralysis. But I didn't know if you guys ever heard of anyone talk about the divine parts of sleep paralysis.
So as in like the shadow figure is the evil entity, and having divine thoughts like releases you from its presence, kind of thing. That's what you're saying?
Right. So yeah, so I would say like while experiencing sleep paralysis, I see like multiple things. It's not always just a shadow person, but a lot of the times it is. And when I do see these things or these creatures that are approaching me in my, like usually it's all reality. So you're laying in your bed and they're in your room or whatever. And yes, I just think of just like higher being or good times and good thoughts, and it does release me out of that paralysis.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. Yeah,
dude, that is absolutely
right.
terrifying. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever sleep again after that shit.
Man, it's one of the most horrifying experiences I've ever had in my life. And what's wicked about it is, you can chalk it up to anything you want to make yourself feel better. At the end of the day, we have no idea what this phenomenon is, and that's what makes it truly horrifying.
Yeah, I've never had any personal experience. From all the stories I've heard, though, it doesn't seem like something you want to have happen to you on a regular basis.
No, I've never
at all.
had
It's not fun at all.
sleep paralysis. So I've never, but it sounds absolutely terrifying. But it's weird when you start to, see shadow people or the Hat Man, and it's such a wide thing that people see. There's got to be something to it, right? There's so many people.
Right.
Is it something simple like not enough oxygen in your sleep, something like that? Who knows, right?
Right.
We don't really have an answer for it.
Now,
I mean, like,
and that's
my one
that's just the
interjection
thing,
for my one thought with the not enough oxygen, like if you're getting a hypoxic brain injury while you're sleeping, like you're gonna have long-term effects. Like this, that necessarily doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like if you're not getting ample amount of oxygen to your brain, let's say the average person sleeps between 6 and 8 hours, like there's gonna be some long-term effects.
Yeah, I don't know what the cause would be. Really,
your friend of a friend, Andrew, would know. So, I mean,
Touché.
you're the best guy to understand those kind of things.
See,
all right, we're gonna move on here, but before we let you go, how Lou Bega from 1 to 5 is your shadow experience?
Oh man, it's like, I would say 5. Mamba number 5.
5.
jump up and down,
Yeah.
move it all around. Get your hands to the front, get your hands to the side. I wish we had a button, the Lou Bega button, when someone hits when we have a Mambo number 5 level experience.
We're gonna have to make our own sample for that, so we don't get copyright. But that'd be perfect.
Tyler, where can people find your podcast?
Real quick, boys.
Yeah, plug your podcast.
You can find our podcast. You can find our podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Castbox, and very soon it'll be on iTunes and a few other platforms wherever you can find your podcast at. But it's at the Conspiracy Hall Podcast.
Right on, man. Good luck with that. If you have any more questions, let us know.
I appreciate you guys. Hey, real quick, I do want to say one more thing about sleep paralysis. So my sister also experiences this, and our parents experience this. So it could be a genetic thing too. So that's just something to throw out there. I don't know if anybody else has experienced experiencing the same thing, or if it's in their family too. So that's also just something interesting I want to throw out there for you guys.
All right. Transgenerational hauntings by shadow people. You heard it here.
Right.
By Lou Bega.
West Virginia boys are just haunted. Yes.
All right, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, love you guys.
Bye.
I've had one. I've told it before about like something opening my door and seeing. I thought it was my brother or my dad looking in on me.
Yeah.
And my parents' old house, the doors were like we had really high ceilings in the basement. I'm trying to think about what's a standard door, Zell?
It's like 6'6".
6'6". Okay. Well, whatever was standing.
You
in
had
the
you
door
had tall
frame,
doors. You had like 8-foot doors in that basement.
Yeah. So whatever was standing in that door frame filled right up to the top, and there was like when my door was cracked open, I could see the staircase going up the stairs, and there was a light, so it was backlit just ever so slightly, and it was as tall as the fucking door frame. That's what froze me in my bed. I was like, Scotty, like, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? What do you want? The door slowly closed. Then the door opened, and then I realized I got like hit with that like gut fear of just like,
Oh no.
my inner voice going like, oh, that's too tall to be anyone in your family. Like, oh,
So how do you recover from that situation? What happened?
dude. So
I'm
the door
serious.
shut. The door shut. I fucking ran and I had a lock on my door. I locked it. I was like freaking the fuck out because I'm like, something just opened my fucking door. So I grabbed my lacrosse stick. I was banging on the roof because I was like, I don't know. I was like, ah! I was probably like 12 or 13 years old. I was like, get downstairs. There's someone in the house. My dad came flying down the stairs in his fucking ginch. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And I was just like, are you fucking with me? Is someone in this house fucking with me right now? Like, you need to answer and you need to be straight right now. And they're like, what? I was like, someone was just opening and closing my door, really tall, and my dad just took off, went like running around the house, just like checking. My mom was freaked the fuck out. So my brother came to my room. She shut the door, locked. My dad came back, opened it, and he's like, nah, it's nothing. And my mom was like, was it any doors unlocked? He's like, nah, you're just having a nightmare. I was like, no
way.
no, I am not having a nightmare. I wasn't asleep. Like, I wasn't asleep yet. And
I don't know how
it
you
was
come
that
back
house,
from
man.
that.
I'm telling you, that our old house was haunted. It was fucked.
Was it built on an ancient Indian burial ground or something?
Yeah,
Like,
basically it was, man. It was in the res in West Kelowna.
All right, we're gonna
They moved the gravestones, but they didn't move the graves.
No, exactly.
it-
Okay,
dude,
we
I'm
got
telling
a
you, it
caller
was
on the line
terrifying.
here for a while. I'm gonna unmute him here.
Oh, sorry.
All right, next caller. Hello, you're on Cosmic Channels. Hello.
Hey guys, this is Isabella. Bella, my sister and I, Gabby, we're huge fans. We've been listening to you guys for quite a long time, and it's great to be on. I'm calling from Humboldt County, California.
Oh, right on.
This is the Emerald Triangle. This is the home of the best weed in the world.
Boy, easy
I'm
there.
currently a little stoned.
Easy there.
We'll put that to the test.
Yeah, we'll have to have a smoke off.
But hey, yeah, you guys, and this is also Bigfoot country. So the Patterson Gimlin film was actually about an hour and a half northeast from where my town is. So we've been there. We've been to the Bigfoot Museum.
That's awesome.
You got good
Don't
costume
have any
shops out
squat
there or what?
stories though. No, we've never had. No one in my family's ever had a Bigfoot experience.
Not yet. Not
Not yet.
Not
Lots
yet.
of mountain lions though. Mountain lions. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All right, do you have a hat man or shadow person story for us or theory?
This is actually a shadow woman story. So
All right.
where we live in Fortuna, California, and my parents bought the property where they built a house. So late 90s, and it's a new house, new structure, and everything. But about a minute down the hill from my house is a cemetery. I actually have a lot of relatives buried there, so you could see it from our house. But it's all old farmland originally. So, so one night I was having a slumber party, and I had my cousin and my sister with me. And the only thing about our house is, the kids' bedrooms are on one side of the house, and my parents' bedrooms were on the other side. So I was about 9 at the time, and there's a 6-foot hallway separating my bedroom and my brother's bedroom. I'm the oldest. I was 9. My sister was like 6. My cousin was also like 9, and then my brother was like a baby at the time. So we kind of had a fort set up. We were all hanging out, jerking around, like watching movies and stuff. And I fell asleep at one point and then woke back up, and it was about 3 a.m. And my cousin and my sister were somehow still awake. They were like playing card games and watching a movie. And we kind of had like an open door policy in my house. Like none of us ever had locks. All our doors were open all the time. We talked to each other from one room to the next, that kind of thing. We're Mexican Italian, so our voices carry. And so I remember like waking up and my door was closed, and I couldn't understand why my bedroom door was closed, and it really bothered me. And the only thing I can explain it like is if, like, you know, in horror movies where there's a closet and someone just has the need to open it really fast because they think something's behind there, or they know something's behind there. That's the only thing I could think of, was that like, I just had this innate feeling that something was behind my door. And so I got up and I told them, I got to go to the bathroom. I don't know why I said that. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I just did it. And when I opened the door, I see like the silhouette of what would be like a Victorian woman. I don't know if you guys have seen those silhouettes. They're like all black, but it just kind of looked like this Victorian woman, and it was like black on black, and it was already kind of dark in the hallway. And it looked like she was shutting the door to my brother's nursery, and like she was coming out of his room. And
Nope.
And the only thing that I could sense was that, like, you know, shadow people, you're usually like, it's all black, you know, but this had some color to me. And I wouldn't characterize it by definition as a ghost because there weren't really features. It was more just like a form, you know, like a figure, like what people kind of regard shadow people as.
Yep.
And so she shuts the door and she turns to me, and the only bit of color is I could see like her white skin. Her face is white. Her neck is white. She's wearing this long black lace collared dress. And the thing that was really weird was that her hair, you know, in contrast to like a Victorian lady's updo, her hair was just like this jet black, long, stringy, just kind of flowing over her dress, so long. And so our mom has jet black hair, so I figured, like, initially was rationalizing it like, oh, it's just my mom coming out of my brother's room. But she had actually cut her hair that day into, like, one of those early 2000s bobs, so, like, really short, like Fifth Element short. and so I was like, okay, this isn't my mom. And then when she turned at me, I just felt, she was, like, about 6 feet away, just my blood froze, like how you read in books or stories. Like, I just, sorry, I pulled a Braden and coughed. I just froze, and I felt this sense of fear, and it was like she wasn't used, the only way I could describe it is that she wasn't used to being seen or, like, noticed. And she had been caught. Like, she had been caught in the act, and someone had paid attention to her.
Oh.
And then she just rushed me in what felt like maybe, you know, 5 minutes. I mean, that's literally how long it felt like this encounter was. But it was probably like a fraction of a second. She rushed me, and the whole time she was just this blurry black and white mask. And I fell back. I landed on my back. I hit so hard that I knocked the lamp over on the bedside table. The lamp crashed down. My cousin and sister were, like, trying to pick me up. They're trying to pick the lamp up. That was their only source of light. And then before I could say anything to either of them, my cousin said, "Who is that woman?"
Oh, my God.
Man,
Multiple
that is
people seeing the same
terrifying.
shadow person.
My sister does not. She just remembers, like, the after effects, like us all screaming, us running over to my parents' side of the house, my dad searching the house. My mom was in, like, an oversized white T-shirt. Like, she wasn't even wearing anything black. My dad was in his skivvies, you know. They're, like, freaked out. We ended up sleeping in their room that night. And then a month later, I had, right after my birthday, I had a grand mal seizure in that same hallway, right where I had seen her, in the same spot.
So you had a seizure? Is that what I just heard?
Yeah, like a month later.
But in the
yeah,
same hallway
like a month later.
that the shadow person was, that you seen?
Right where she was standing.
Jesus. Nope.
That is
That's
A
terrifying.
whole lot of nope.
Whole lot of nope
Yeah.
from over here.
That's a problem, man.
Man, I don't even. The only thing I know for sure is that one wasn't Lou Bega.
Yeah, that one doesn't sound like Lou Bega.
That is
No,
terrifying.
no, it's not.
So on a scale of 1 to
Lucy
1 to
Bega.
5. No Lou Bega.
Yeah.
Lucy.
It was it was a 0.
Lucy Bega. There you go.
Mambo level 0. No Lou Bega. That is one of the most terrifying shadow people experience I've heard.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
That
I
was
couldn't even imagine.
It was pretty fucked up. It
How old were
ruined
you
me
again?
for a long. I was 9 when that happened, and then
Oh man.
for like a while they thought that I might be epileptic. So they're like, until you turn 15, I had to take like MRIs and EKGs annually. Sorry, my dog's whining in the background. But I had to like do annual stuff to make sure that I wasn't epileptic. And then they eventually were like, no, it just must have been a one-off. Like until I was 15, I had to take all those tests. And after that experience in that house, like I don't know what it was, but both sides of my family are very superstitious. We're born and raised Catholic, like Mexican, Italian. Everyone on my mom's side of the family has had encounters with, paranormal stuff. We've all experienced it.
It's crazy.
On my dad's side too. But like, there was something that happened that night that just like completely changed the energy of that house. Like it like opened something or activated something.
Yeah.
And like
Hopefully they sold it.
Paranormally activated.
Did they sell the house?
No, like anytime.
I know
we
that
have-
feeling. I know
No,
the
we
feeling of
still
like
have it.
my parents were like, it was just a bad dream. It was just, don't worry, it was a bad dream. I'm like, no, I know what bad dreams are. I was like, this was real. And I was like, I was always terrified to be alone in that house, man. Terrified. I'd go sit outside. Like I hated being alone in there. Terrifying.
No,
My
like-
whole childhood in that.
It's
Yeah.
because I've never
Yeah, that
experienced
was our
anything like
whole-
that in my life, and yet I won't even look in a mirror when the lights are off. I could not imagine what my life would be like if I experienced that.
It's I mean, you get over it, but it's like every now and then I think about it, and like if my door's cracked open or it's like dark out and I see something, I always get that like sense of like that primal like, is he back? He's come back for me. It's terrifying.
Terrifying. All right, we're going to have to move on to the next caller, but we appreciate the call and the story. That was terrifying, and now Andrew is done for 2 weeks, can't sleep.
I'm sweating. I'm fucking legit sweating. right now.
Sorry, guys. Thank you.
Awesome.
It's been an honor.
All right, we'll talk to you again. Thank you.
for calling us. That was awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, there's some people wondering how they can get through because the line is super busy tonight. So we only have one line at the moment. So if there's someone on the call, just keep calling back. That's all you can do.
As soon as the calls ended, the line's back open.
Yeah, I answered the next call right away. I answered the next call right away. I put you on hold, and you'll probably hear us talking, and then we'll get you on the line as soon as we can. That was a terrifying shadow person story.
Oh, man. It scares me because I'm like, that is such a weird thing that we all do when we're kids. Like, there's a time as a kid where you're like, I need my door open. It's too scary to have it closed. And I'm like, no, that's the worst logic, because if you're sleeping, something can easily just come through that open door, man. Like, cross that threshold. Like, close your door.
Close your door. Put salt on the bottom, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
Dangle your
Lock that
charms.
shit. Put a wedge of
Move.
chair underneath.
Fucking move.
Yeah. She actually said she's still in that same house, and no,
There.
I'm out.
Never.
Couldn't
do
Not a
it.
chance.
Burn it down.
Couldn't do it.
All right, we got another caller here. Let's bring them on the line. Hello, open our cosmic channels. You're live.
Hi, how are y'all? I finally got through.
There you are. Who are we speaking
Is this
with?
Paulina?
Hey, this is Paulina. How are y'all doing?
Good, Paulina.
We're good.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in New York.
Oh, how's everything over there? Getting better?
You know, I think, it looks really bad in the news, but here it's just kind of like lonely.
Right. Right on. Do you have a? You got
How
a
are you?
We're doing well. Do you have a shadow person story or Hatman story or a theory?
Yeah, so you guys actually read my story about a month ago that I called in about the Hat Man. I was in China, and he was like my like weird friend, like saw him. So I won't take up too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. I won't take up too much time because I know there's other people who want to share, but I kind of wanted to hear y'all's thought on the story. Obviously, you guys read it. And I was wondering if I could patch in my friend who saw him. If not, it's okay. But I was wondering if you guys had any residual thoughts after the story.
Take us through. A lot of people might not have heard that story, so give us a quick run, like a 2-minute rundown of the story, if you can. If you have someone else, if you have someone else on the line with you, like you can both talk at the same phone, but I don't think we can do a 3-way call.
Right. No, it's okay. So basically, when I was really young, I would remember seeing through the crack in my bedroom door, like the figure of like a silhouette of a man in like a fedora and a long trench coat. Like I always just describe it as like old-timey detective movies.
Right.
And I would like wake up in the middle of the night and like kind of open my eyes and like see the silhouette and then just kind of be like, oh, he's there again. I was never really afraid for some reason, and I would just kind of roll over, go back to sleep. But I must have been really young at this point because I never really remembered it again. And then it was like 2017. I was living in China, and I was with a friend. We were in like we were on vacation in this like nice hotel. Nothing weird about it. And in the middle of the night, we both woke up. We were sharing a room. I woke up in the middle of the night, and she was like, her eyes were open, like we were facing each other in the beds, and her eyes were just kind of open, and she was just looking past me. Like I could tell she wasn't looking at me. And so I kind of I was like half asleep, and I just kind of watched her, and she was looking past me, and then she just kind of said like hello, like kind of annoyedly. And then I kind of waited like 30 seconds or so, and I said like, who are you talking to? And then she like snapped and kind of made eye contact with me and was like, oh, like, sorry, nothing. And like we both rolled over and went back to sleep. And then the next morning I was like, oh my gosh, do you remember I don't know if you were like talking in your sleep or like, but your eyes were open and you said hello to like someone. I don't know what it was. And she was like, it was super weird. I don't know. I don't want to freak you out, but I just woke up in the middle of the night and there was this man in like a fedora and like a long trench coat just like standing at the foot of your bed, like watching you sleep. And she was like, it's nothing. It's probably one of my like weird things. Like, don't worry. And like my blood went cold because I never told anyone about him as a kid. I don't know. I feel like as a kid, you're just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know why.
That's my friend. That's my imaginary friend. No big deal. It's really fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
person.
remember having an imaginary friend, and I wasn't scared of him. I think that's the reason I never really told anyone. It was just kind of like whatever. But when she said that, then I told her, I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is absolutely insane. And then, she was like, maybe he's maybe he's like a relative of yours that like died and is like taking care of you, something. But she also said she didn't get like a threatening vibe from him. Nothing weird like that. So I don't know. It was just like super weird. I mean, I haven't. And so the thing is, like, she's the one who saw him, right? Like, I have not seen him since my childhood. So I don't know. I think about him all the time because it's like something super bizarre that happened, and everyone else who had the experience was like paralyzed. And as a kid, I remember like fully tossing and turning and like looking at him. I wasn't paralyzed. So I always wonder why he hasn't come back, or if he has come back, why I can't see him. I don't know. And I think it was Braden that said he saw a hat man on shrooms. One of you guys saw something on shrooms.
I think it might have been Braden and friend.
I've seen him numerous times, and I never, like, until we started doing the show, I never thought anything of it other than remember like having this weird experience of being on psychedelics, and then seeing, and it wasn't. He was like in like a hat. I couldn't really make out. He was like in the shadows. Again, it was dark. It was nighttime, but I didn't feel threatened. But I was like very aware that he was there, and that I felt like this overwhelmed, like I felt really judged by whatever it was, like really judged, and then he just walked away like really stiff-armed, and just walked away. And I've seen him numerous times, and I thought it was just like part of, like, I'm just like, wow, that's weird, part of the high, when you're kind of in the thralls of it. And then it very strange. And then when I started hearing about Hat Man and other people, I'm like, other people see this shit all the fucking time, like it's all over the place. It was just very weird to hear that other people have experiences. I mean, mind you, is under the influence of psychedelics.
Suspect, but still crazy.
Yeah.
First, My thought. Old-timey detective movies are detective noir movies. Call them detective noir movies from now on. Sounds cooler.
Not
Detective
old-timey.
Detective
Not old-timey
Noir.
detective
Out.
movies.
We lost Paulina before she could give us the scale of Mambo number 1 to Mambo number 5. How Lou Bega was her hat man. I'm gonna go ahead and I imagine it was Mambo number 5.
If the guy's wearing a hat, a fedora especially, that's Lou Bega.
Yeah.
He can't.
My hope is one of our fans runs into Lou Bega and takes a picture and goes, "I just had a Mambo number 5 Lou Bega Hatman experience," and it's actually him. But anyways, do
I
we
hope
have
so.
any other people calling in?
Oh, we got another person on the line right here.
Woo!
Thanks to Paulina.
This line's hotline.
Thanks, Paulina. That was a great Hatman story. Hopefully, you never see him again. You shouldn't wish for that. Keep him out. Keep him out. Especially Lou Bega, fucking infiltrating your room. Don't trust that guy. All right, let's bring up some volume here. Who do we got? Hello, you're on Cosmic Channels. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Cole from Revelstoke.
Revy, just down the road.
Heavy. BC
Yeah,
boy.
boys.
Right on, man. How's it going?
Not bad, man. Just crushing some brews out on the deck. Nice day out.
Yeah, summer has come. Here we go.
Yeah, finally.
Right on, man. You got a Shadow Person Hatman story for us or theory?
Yeah, it's kind of like it ties in with night terrors a bit.
Sure.
So when I was a kid, I used to get like night terrors like consistently, to the point where like it was kind of like Inception. Like I'd wake up from one into another one, and I would think I was awake, but I was always still asleep in like another night terror. And I remember like the last, we'll say, like level of it, I'd wake up and I'd be in my room and door would be closed, and I'd look and see it open. Couldn't move myself, just my eyes. And a man would step through, kind of looked like Slender Man, like really long legs, really long arms, that sort of thing on. And he'd slowly walk in, just a great hulking dude. And he'd get to the point where he'd kind of look right over me. I remember like slap myself to wake up, and it just would never work until like I actually woke up, and I'd be covered in sweat and like hyperventilating. So then it kind of stopped for a couple of years, and then recently, like past 5 years, it's been happening again, kind of like once a month, if that works. And yeah, it's pretty terrifying. It usually like couples with when I'm really stressed, but yeah, there's been times where my girlfriend had like shaken me awake because she could tell that something was happening, where I was like clenching the bed, just dripping sweat and hyperventilating in my sleep.
Jeez. So you get like
Yeah.
It's like a night terror / Shadow Man experience.
Yeah, they kind of couple. Like the night terror could be something different from the like Shadow Man or Hat Man, where like I'll be like being possessed by a demon or something, and then I'll think I'm awake finally, and then the Shadow Man, Hat Man will come into my room.
Oh, so like you experience it while you're sleeping, but then you feel like you wake up and then you actually see the figure.
Fucking
Yeah, exactly.
So it
Jesus.
just looms over you.
Yeah, it just kind of comes and looks over me, but I've never actually seen its face. Its face is just blank, but I know it's got a hat.
Do you ever have you ever tried to talk to it?
I've never been able to talk. I can only move my eyes.
Fuck.
Jeez.
Fuck, terrifying. And this has been happening every like once a month to you.
Yeah, for about the past 5 years, once a month.
It's crazy. Do you have like a weird shift schedule at work? You working nights, days, switching it back and out? Like, is there something that have you found like a pattern of like something that triggers an onset of it, or is it just random?
I'll always like think I have one, and then it kind of changes. For work, I'm a forest firefighter, so in the summer my sleeping schedule is like right out of whack.
Right.
Depending on the fires, but then so I'll think that's like because I'm stressed with that. And then it'll be like calm over the winter, and then it will still happen when I'm like chilling on vacation or whatever. So it's kind of hard to say what happens.
That's a hard no from me. No thanks. Don't want that.
All right, because we've been asking everyone on the scale of Mambo number 1 to Mambo number 5, how Lou Bega was your shadow person or hat man.
I'll give him a slender bag of 5.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Anytime he's wearing a hat, you know he got Lou Bega creeping as a shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just coming dancing on out, sucking and driving, you know.
Singing all his hits.
He doesn't have a hat. It's
Yeah,
Scat Man. If he has a hat, it's Hat Man.
Right.
Yeah. No hat, it's Scat Man. And then, yeah, Dan is correct.
Hey, man, hey, we appreciate the call, especially from a local BC boy such as yourself. We don't actually have a lot of local listeners. It's surprising. We have way more
Right on.
everywhere else except where we live.
There's some folks.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Stay safe out there fighting those fires.
Yeah, we'll see you up in Revy, hopefully for
Right on. Thanks, boys.
next board season.
Hell yeah.
Cheers, brother. Bye.
Have a good one.
Man, we'll get a lot of fucking Hat Man stories, Shadow Man stories coming in. I don't know.
Man, well, Lou Bega gets around.
Guy's
At the end of the show, if
Guys,
you stick around for the end of the show, after the credits, let the credits roll. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to shut the show down. We're going to let the theme music play. And then if you stick around long enough, maybe we'll play a little Lou Bega for those who stick around before we get taken off air by YouTube, who won't want us to reveal the truth.
We cannot play Lou Bega on YouTube. if you're part of the supporters, we'll play it on Discord.
I sometimes think Braden has a very loose understanding
of copyright.
What copyright is.
No
understanding of everything.
No understanding at all.
He has absolutely no idea how it works.
You can't just play songs on YouTube, as you found out when you tried to do your Rasputin.
Braden has said us something. We're like, we can't put that up. Why not? Because it's copyright. So, and it's
just
like,
put it up. What's the big deal? What's the big deal?
Instantly down. 3 seconds.
Instantly.
Later.
Yeah. Your video has been removed. Like, well, okay.
Copyright. I'm always this exact same reaction. Whoa!
What, dude? Come on! Come on!
What? Oh man! Who would have thunk?
All right, we got time for a few more calls, so we got one more on the line here.
Woo!
Hello, you're on Cosmic Channels. Who we speaking with?
Hi, it's Sheila from Montreal.
Oh, hello from Montreal.
Yeah, from Montreal.
Yes, and by the way, you guys got the Quebec accent wrong.
Yeah, probably.
Accent wrong.
Our Quebec accents are wrong.
We are master linguists.
Yeah. We'll work on it for the next time. We'll work on it for the next one.
Who's never been to Montreal?
That's more like
Yeah.
French.
Has got
That's
the
what
accent
that is.
wrong. What?
Yeah, no one here has been to Quebec, I don't think.
No, Mr. Conspiracy is currently in Quebec.
Oh, that's
He's
true.
in Montreal, and
He's working.
And he told me that's how it sounds. So
You can blame Mr. Conspiracy. There you go.
Mr. Conspiracy is always 100% right.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Of course. Anyways, do you have a shadow person or Hat Man story or theory for us?
Yes, so I wrote you guys actually a couple way at the beginning. Maybe one of you guys read it. I don't know which one read it, but you guys commented on it. Unlike the second caller, I don't get it through sleep paralysis. I see them all the time. And I've been seeing them since I was 2 years old.
Ooh.
So rather than kind of explain, like I see them day or night, it's not specific to the night. But rather than tell a recent story, I'm actually going to go back and tell you guys the first experience I had, which was not through my own eyes, it was through my family's eyes. So what happened was I was 2 years old, and I was at home alone with my mother, and I was on the bed sleeping, and she was doing laundry next to me. And she had walked out to get more laundry, and she'd come back. She was on her way back. She said it was only 3 minutes that she was awake. And when she returned, my door was closed. And she was like, what the heck? So she went to open up the door, but it was locked. And we had a sliding bolt on the other side. So her immediate thought was, oh no, somebody broke into the apartment and they're in the room with my child. So she started freaking out. So she ran to the kitchen, and from the kitchen window to look into my bedroom, it's at a 90-degree angle. So she was able to like open the window and look out. And she saw me sitting on the bed just wailing. I was crying. And at that same time, my dad had just walked in with my sister. And she started screaming that somebody had broken into the apartment. So he immediately went to the kitchen to look through. No, sorry, he went to the bedroom and tried to slam the door down, but he couldn't budge it.
What?
So he ended up going to the kitchen, and he looked through the window. I'm sorry?
It's harder than it looks. Is that you
Did
said,
I say
Andrew?
that?
Yeah. Knocking down doors.
Knocking
is
down
way
doors.
harder than it was.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like one of those old, it was one of those really old, the door from the 20s. Anyway, so he had popped his head out through the window to look, and he had pushed in the bedroom screen, which was really stupid to do this, but he asked my sister to jump through the window, and we're 3 stories up. And he kind of like helped her get through and pushed her, and he said, unlock the door. So he ran back to my bedroom door. She went in, she said she saw me, was looking up in the air, screaming. And she went and unlocked the door. And my mother rushed in, my dad rushed in, and he started to look under the bed, in the closet. Nobody was obviously in there. And my mother picked me up, and I was still, my sister's and my eyes were fixated on one spot in the room. And I just kept wailing. And after that, I never wanted to sleep in there. So something obviously had moved the bolt into place, because I was too short to reach it. It was at least 4 feet above me. So yeah, but I've been seeing them for years. But I think that was the first time I probably saw it. I have no memory of it. It's all from their perspective.
Are you wearing like a haunted amulet or something? Have you been wearing the same necklace since you're 2?
No. But the thing is that I don't necessarily have that feeling like some people do, where it's like, oh, it's really scary, or I feel paralyzed in the moment. Some of them are just, I don't feel anything negative. Some are really negative, some aren't. But yeah, like I've seen them in different forms too, where they're just a mist floating in the air. Sometimes they're just standing around. And other times I've actually seen a profile on them where you could see like the bridge of the nose and stuff like that.
So you see these shadow figures on a regular basis, not when you're sleep paralyzed. You just will see them from time to time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I actually were to pay attention to somebody, I can actively see it, but I choose not to because it freaks me out. I just don't want to see that stuff. I've been dealing with that since I was a kid. Like even in that same apartment, when I was 4, I used to constantly see people in our apartment, and then I just see them walk out like through the wall. And I was just like, oh, they're bothering me again. Like, it was so normal, like, to me in some sense. It was just like, whatever, they're walking out. So over the years, I've learned to kind of ignore them for the most part, like, just not even try to look. But, I mean, oftentimes, they usually trail people, and they're kind of like energy suckers, if anything. Sometimes I've seen them attached to someone's back, for example, like as if it was a hump on their back. And usually when people, like some of my friends know about this, so they'll say,
yeah, examine our cameras. Do we have shadow people lurking in our background?
Actually, don't tell me.
No, I'm serious. Especially if Andrew has one, make sure you tell him. Andrew, I think Andrew might have one, I think, over his left shoulder. Just check.
Just say yes.
I think Andrew's pretty clear, actually, but definitely where Andrew goes, definitely has that kind of stuff, I'm sure. Like the kind of stories he has, I wouldn't be surprised.
So what you're saying is it's just a matter of time before Andrew gets one attached to him.
No, do the salt, Andrew. You'll be fine.
Have you tried interacting with them ever?
Okay. Well, the last time I had any real interaction with them was 2 years ago now, and I was at the time I was staying out in the country, and our house is right up to the woods, and I was out for a smoke at like 3 a.m, and all my hairs just stood up, and I was like, what the heck am I seeing? And I saw literally a train of these shadow people, almost like they were marching in like a single file line. And I was like, I'd never seen anything like that, where they were in such a large group just walking, and it was continuous. It was just left to right. It was nonstop. And I just kind of backed away and went back into my house, and I was looking at them through the window, and I was like, oh, fuck this. And then the next day I had another interaction where it was similar, and I was just like, leave me alone. But it was like I wasn't even there. They didn't even notice me. So I don't know what subset that was. But that's the only time I really tried to interact with them. Typically, I just walk away.
Are you sure your destiny is not supposed to be something like John Constantine, like you're supposed to battle these babies back to hell, or what?
Well, what happens is a lot of my friends know that I have this ability, so they'll often say something is not right, and they'll ask me to kind of, it's a type of remote viewing. I can see it from, like I could be at home and I could just see where they are and see what's going on in their place. So I can usually describe to them, like, okay, it's over here, and it's definitely this size, it's, this dense or whatever, and it's on you or it's near you or stuff of that sort. So I'll usually, be like, oh, just put salt down. Or
again, real though, you said Andrew's good, but what about the rest of us? You failed to mention that the rest of our rooms were clear. So,
well, honestly, the only time I actually saw one at one point earlier on in your episodes when I was watching live, and it was actually outside of when you guys had the new studio built. I think it's the one that you're in right now, Zal. It was just outside the door. But I mean, I don't think there's anything inside.
I know there's a fucking demon lurking around in here. He's been here for a while, and I know he's here, but I can't see him.
Never coming back.
Well,
I'm never going back.
I know that there's something. I know there's something outside of it, but it might come in every now and then. I don't know. I'd have to actually look.
Oh, you're making this up. You're making this up right now. You're making it up. I'm probably gonna hang up on you in about 3 seconds.
Anyways, but like it's unlike other people. But I mean, I'm not the only one apparently, because for years it was like, what the hell is this? And I've been researching it over the years, and slowly, bit by bit, I've met people who are like, no, actually, most people get initiated at age 2, and that's when they start seeing stuff. So, and they're like, no, some of them are just ghosts, some of them are demons, some of them are whatever. So I don't know. I don't personally know what it is. I don't even know how to battle it, quote unquote, battle it. So, yeah.
That's terrifying. Glad to know you've seen one outside my door before.
Lock that shit.
Just put salt down. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I don't believe in salt stopping the fucking shadow person.
Outstanding.
This guy's been trying to lure one forever, so.
You brought that shit on yourself, man.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I've been opening portals to hell in here for a while. One time I left.
He's been trying to get the pick of destiny.
One time I left the planchette on the Ouija board for a week, just to see. That might have done it.
Oh boy. Yeah, I wouldn't fool around with that stuff personally. I was an idiot when I was younger, and I made one, and yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good idea. Anyways, thank you very much for the terrifying stories and haunting us for the rest of our lives.
Nope, no problem. All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Talk to you later. Bye.
Later. Bye.
We probably got time for one more caller.
I think she's seeing in like the future or the past, and like that's why they're not interacting with her. They're just like going on because she's like able to look into the fucking past.
I don't know, but the fact that she said she's seen one outside my door, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's fucked, man. Like I don't like that's.
Well, you know what? I brought it myself. I have actually 3 Ouija boards at my house. I've tried them all. I've left the planchette on. We've played it numerous times. I'm opening.
Really, Zell has tried
tricks
really
on your
hard
friends.
when we were there.
Yeah.
I've never closed the Ouija board properly. It's probably still open in the box. It's probably I probably created the whole world disaster of coronavirus through the Ouija board. I wouldn't be surprised. My bad.
Don't take credit.
I'm not taking credit. Oh, we had a call on hold and they hung up. Okay, well, there's another one here. Got another one. You're on hold if you're listening. Just give us a second. What do we got? Yeah, this would be our last call, I think. Yeah, last call. All right, let's bring him in. What do we got? Hello, Cosmic Channels. You're live.
Hey, what's up? Is this me?
Yeah, you're on. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
This is Ryder from Maryland.
Ryder from Maryland. How's it going, man?
Oh, yeah. Good.
You got a terrifying story of some type? Shadow people, Hat Man?
So I got a couple real quick.
Sure.
One is that I've had it for a while. I've talked to a few people about what it is. I'm not really sure, but it's always in the sleep paralysis, whatever kind of deal. And it always has to do with a shadow dude. It's always in like a hooded cape kind of deal. So almost a hat. And he's always got a dog with him. And it's like a
hellhound.
This demon dog.
Yeah, hellhound.
Yeah. That's what people are telling me. And I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now. And it'll just be kind of at the edge of my room, and I'll kind of be in a deep sleep, but feel like I'm waking up. And then every single time I wake up, it's like kind of still standing in the corner of my room, and I could just see the dog slowly walking by, and pop up out of my sleep, I guess, and nothing there, but I get that feeling, hair on the back of your neck standing up and whatnot. And so the most recent one, I saw it in the corner of my room. As soon as I'm coming up out of my sleep, it was my girlfriend actually walking by in the room and almost knocked her out because I was 100% convinced that it was this shadow person coming at me, trying to get me in my sleep with this fucking dog walking right next to her or him, whatever. And yeah, scared the shit out of her. Scared me, definitely.
No kidding.
But yeah.
Terrifying. What's your thought on it? Do you think it's actually an entity, or is it something like your mind playing tricks on you while it's going on?
Yeah, I've always thought it was just fucked up dreams or whatever. I work with this crazy Brazilian lady though, and she won't stop telling me that it's demons coming after me. So
well,
I'm
at this
not
point,
too sure what to think about it.
At this point, I got one attached to the studio also, so it could very well be, but hopefully not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
the whole thing is fucking crazy. We've got way more calls tonight about shadow people than I thought we would get, and they're all equally terrifying.
Like,
they're insane.
Now,
the last one was
my
pretty
question
crazy.
is like, so you're seeing, like, when's the most recent sighting you've had one?
Probably a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Oh, it's pretty recent.
Now, do you work shift work? Do you work jobs? Shift patterns where sometimes you're getting no sleep at all? Do you have trouble sleeping sometimes?
Other than just a shit sleeping schedule, nothing crazy. And normal hours, 9 to 5, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, nothing that would induce something like that. Not that I would think. Which makes
it's weird,
that much more real.
I always
to
think
me,
there's maybe some sort of pattern to it, right? Like where we could find a pattern between everyone who sees them, but it really seems like there's no rhyme or reason why some people see them, some people don't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Everybody's been different tonight. Yeah, definitely really weird.
Huh. Well, yeah, this whole night's been a little bit of an eye-opener. I didn't realize there'd be so many people with stories.
Seeing fucking Lou Bega out there.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 5 Mambos, what was this?
I'm not gonna go 5. I'll give it a solid 4.5.
Still
Mambo number 4.5.
Mambo number 4. That's still solid.
That's still solid. Hey man, thanks for calling in. We're wrapping up Cosmic Channels. You're our last caller tonight.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
No worries, man. Talk to you again.
Take it easy.
Bye.
All right. Have a good night.
We definitely will not have a good night after this.
Now
Yeah.
So
I gotta
the
watch
fucking
some funny
demon
movies or
outside the door here.
Never slept again.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we have like if every single one of us has like a shadow person experience tonight sleeping?
Well, the big thing for me, like you said, there was nothing in common, and like 90% of these people are having sleep paralysis. I think that's the fucking key thing.
Well, yeah,
I've had sleep paralysis, and I've talked about it before. I've had sleep paralysis happen to me a couple times, and recently, a couple of years ago, while I was living in Thailand, I had sleep paralysis, and I had the sensation of something reaching out, like to grab me,
take you away,
and in my head, it's very similar to the way that Peter kind of described our first caller, was that the way that I know. It's like I know what sleep paralysis is. I can rationalize it in my brain, and I'm like, I know what it is. So most people who have studied sleep and they've studied the biology of sleep, most doctors and scientists who have done the studies, they've come to the agreement that it is something that when you go to sleep, what happens is that when your body gets ready to enter into the REM stages of sleep, it drops your body into a whole different state of functioning, like low functioning. So all of your muscles are paralyzed or they're relaxed to that point because I think the main theory is that we evolved that way so we wouldn't. And it's probably has mammals, because dogs have nightmares too and stuff like that. But most of them just sleep through it. Is we evolved that way so we wouldn't, if we have these dreams, you don't lash out. You're not moving all over, and you're not getting really tired from having all these crazy dreams, and you'd wake up, unrested, or you'd hurt yourself or something like that. So sometimes you get stuck, and like your brain, your sensory organs, like when you're waking up, you're in that weird little, interstitial stage. Like sometimes parts of your brain will wake up before it has a chance to bring everything online. And that's normally how I rationalize it, is that, okay, my eyes are working, my sensory, my spatial awareness, like all that stuff is online, but my muscles and stuff, all those signals aren't coming out yet. So it's
that all makes complete sense. But where the fuck do you justify Lou Bega rolling up with no boundaries in your bed?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, you're making a lot of sense, except the fact that Lou Bega is coming into people's bedrooms at night. Dan, where's your science account for that?
No. Well, science can't, account for the fact of Lou Bega in general. I don't think that's
science can't account for the fact that Lou Bega had a number one hit that made him $100 million off one song.
Yeah.
Science can't account for that.
No.
Yeah, well, you know what? Joke's on old Lou. I don't fucking sleep.
Anyways, there were some people though that had them when they're awake, so that makes me wonder, like, are they lost that part of their body that doesn't shut off, like that sense when they're awake and they still see it. Like that's what's crazy for me, is like people see them when they're like, no, I'm awake, and I see them, they're like, wow, yeah, I see one over your left shoulder. It's outside your door. You're like, You could be making that up, but now I'm gonna take it like you didn't make it up and it's real, and now I'm gonna have to be looking over there all the time. Anyways,
all right, well, this is
that was
what
fun.
was our sign off for Cosmic Channels? I can never remember. Cosmic Lines.
Dan, what was it?
Open Minds.
Open Minds.
I don't think we really got one yet. We haven't got one that really.
Well, we had one,
yet,
but it ended up being we ended up stealing
Workshop.
it by accident, so we couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with these episodes yet. We're right now just putting them out for Patreon, or they're on YouTube, but there'll be no podcast version of these for the public. Ain't quite yet. I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do. So they're fun to do though. I love hearing the stories.
Yeah, we're getting more.
Maybe
and more
a new topic.
Well, maybe next week we'll change it up. Yeah, a little later.
A little later.
Anyways, anything else? Do we got to sign off for this one?
No. Let's use our ATT one, as we always say on that show. Keep those eyes on the skies.
Peace, everybody.